Alright, this is for all of the Trump voters that have been relentlessly commenting on my YouTube videos for the past few weeks. I see your comments, and all I ask is that you watch this quick clip of an economist breaking down the on-the-ground, tangible impacts of Trump's proposed tariffs. We're not making this proposal up. Trump tweeted about this on Monday, and the premiers in Canada, plus the Mexican president, have all responded and said, dude, we'll retaliate. So let's see what Catherine Ramble has to say, and I want you Trump supporters to justify this or defend this in the comments, and drop a like and subscribe while you're at it.
If you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring grocery prices down, I have some very bad news for you.
Donald Trump wants to hit Canada and China and Mexico in their wallets, which means tariffs. The president-elect on Truth Social, of course, promising to penalize both neighbors to the north and to the south with a 25% tariff on all products entering the U.S.
A lot of our produce comes from Mexico. 2/3 of the tomatoes that Americans purchase are from Mexico. 90% of the avocados that they purchase are from Mexico, just to mention two examples. So that guac is definitely going to cost extra. If you voted for Trump because you thought he was going to bring down the cost of housing, a lot of our lumber, cement, other materials comes from Canada, which means that construction costs are going to go up. Not to mention all of the ways he's going to roil the U.S. auto industry, because a lot of autos cross borders in North America multiple times before they're ultimately finished and sold to consumers. Not to mention the fact that a lot of U.S. manufacturers purchase inputs, intermediate goods like metals and cement and other things from Canada, from Mexico, and not to mention even the retaliation that we should expect. All of which is going to be very bad for consumers, not to mention, again, many of the U.S. workers that Trump allegedly wants to help.
Very well said from Catherine Ramble there. I also want to break down some news regarding China, Russia, and Elon Musk, but we'll get to that. Going back to the tariffs, this is basic economics. When you place tariffs on other countries, especially countries that you're competitive with, not only will you see retaliatory tariffs, but those tariffs that you place originally will be paid by manufacturing companies within your home country, and then therefore paid by consumers. We even see it already manifesting right here. This article dropped today reading, Best Buy says Trump's tariffs could force it to raise prices for consumers. Best Buy CEO Corey Barry said Tuesday that personal electronics could become more expensive if President-elect Donald Trump carries out his threat to slap new tariffs on foreign goods as large retailers scrambled to access the potential impact of the proposed levies on their businesses. And this warning came one day after Trump said he would impose a new round of tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China on his first day in office. So as Catherine Ramble says, man, if you voted for Trump expecting for prices to go lower, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Now, I can make 100 videos on tariffs. I'm sure I will, but I want to talk about some breaking news in the geopolitical sphere. Today we learned, this is some great news, the Russian ruble is actively collapsing because Putin's economy is in trouble. Over 1 million young men have died. Their workforce is currently weakening. Interest rates are high. Food prices are high. Putin does not care, and now it is reflecting in the ruble. This is a chart that I just pulled up of the Russian ruble versus the United States dollar. 1 Russian ruble equals 0.0088 United States dollar, but look at the collapse over the past month. Fuel goes down. Look at over the past 5 days of the Russian ruble. Goes straight down. Even the past 1 day, it's just down. The Russian economy is currently collapsing, and to go back to this article, the Russian currency, the ruble, has plunged to its lowest rate against the US dollar since the very beginning of Vladimir Putin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, as sanctions continue to hurt his economy's dollar. After 2 months of depreciation, the ruble dropped on Tuesday to 107 against the dollar for the first time since March of 2022. Now the question is, what kind of American leader would take the foot off the gas now, when the Russian economy is crumbling? The ruble is currently tanking and our sanctions are working. Why would you cut off aid to Ukraine? It is such a terrible idea. Right when Russia is about to fall, right when the Russian economy is tanking, you're really going to take your foot off the gas? It makes no sense. Quote, the Russian ruble is weakening significantly as a result of the escalating conflict in Ukraine, said one market analyst. The free fall follows the U.S. Treasury Department's announcement on November 21st of sanctions on dozens of Russian banks, which have been widely used for international payments. Sanctions have made it harder for Russian businesses to deal with international payments, and the latest measure could see Russia's trade balance worsen. I'll talk about that more. That is great. But Here is the big headline story that I'd like to talk about. This new article reads, Blue Sky Boom Worries Chinese Media. Has anybody in the comment section heard of Blue Sky yet, the new social media company that's rivaling Twitter? Go follow my account. If you look up Mockler, you can find my account there. But apparently the Chinese media is troubled by the latest exodus of X users flocking to Blue Sky, and it's because they're losing their influence on an outlet that is easy to control. You know, I posted this on Blue Sky earlier. I said, Elon Musk having control of X at this time in history is like the Soviet Union having control of CNN during the Cold War. Could you imagine if our greatest adversaries were able to control our media apparatus at a time when the liberal world order was weakening? Well, you don't have to imagine it. That's what's happening right now. Russia, China, they're all trying to reach in and change the algorithm. Actually, just going back to this story where the Russian economy is collapsing, Vladimir Putin knows that he would never win a ground war against America or even an economic war, but what he can do is win an information war. He can trick the American populace, and that's what he did successfully over the past decade, but really over the past 2 years for this election. His information war has, I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty perfect, and it got Trump reelected, and he's going to get what he wants, most likely. But state outlets, which admit they put considerable resources into amassing millions of followers on Elon Musk's social media platform X, have recently seen their growth plateau. Let me read that one more time. State outlets, which put considerable resources into amassing millions of followers on Elon Musk's social media platform, including by buying ads, deploying bots, and hiring influencers, have recently seen their growth plateau. The growing popularity of Blue Sky, which has had a largely liberal base and a harder to manipulate algorithm due to it being open source, has sparked, quote, worried chatter within Chinese state media circles. A former Xinhua and China Daily employee wrote in his newspaper, he predicted the accounts will migrate to Blue Sky, though it may take time. For now, the sector's focus has shifted back to domestic Mandarin language channels, and honestly, this is going to be controversial, but it's okay if Chinese actors, if the state governments want to be on Blue Sky. And that's because Blue Sky's algorithm is a level playing field where facts and rationality will prevail. Now, when I open X and I see Chinese state media, I see Russian actors getting thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of likes, that's not a level playing field. I've shown you guys over the past few days, Pete Buttigieg correcting Elon Musk, but Pete Buttigieg's correction only gets a fraction of the views. And that's because disinformation is so clearly rewarded on X. Where on Blue Sky, again, the facts will get thousands of likes, tens of thousands of likes, and we could all fact check these actors who are trying to mess with us, these malicious actors. On Twitter, Elon Musk gives these malicious actors the biggest platform that they've ever had, a platform bigger than they could ever wish for. I'll leave you with that. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later, and peace out.